Please, she's hungry. I just need one can. Just one." The whispered plea barely registered above the fluorescent hum of the grocery store. Lennox watched the young woman's trembling hands reach for the formula container, watched her glance frantically toward the exit, watched her tuck it into her threadbare jacket. The baby strapped to her chest whimpered softly, and the sound cut through him like glass. He should have looked away, should have let her go, but something about her face stopped him. The hollow cheeks, the desperate eyes, the way she held her daughter with such fierce, protective love despite having nothing else. "Wait," he said quietly, stepping forward. The woman froze. Her eyes went wide with terror as she turned, her arms instinctively wrapping tighter around the infant. She couldn't have been more than 27, but life had carved deep lines around her mouth, had stolen the light that should have lived in someone so young. "I'm not going to hurt you," Lennox said, raising his hands slowly. I want to help." "I'll put it back," she stammered, tears already streaming. "Please, I'll put it back. Don't call anyone. They'll take my baby. Please." "That's not what I'm asking." He kept his voice gentle, the same tone he'd used a decade ago in his college dorm when a stranger had found him collapsed on the bathroom floor. "What's your name?" The question surprised her. She blinked, confusion replacing some of the panic. "Bryn. Her name is Bryn." "She's beautiful." Lennox reached for his wallet, pulled out several bills. "Let me buy the formula, and whatever else you need." The woman stared at the money like it was something from another world. "Why would you do that? You don't know me." "No," he agreed, softly. "But someone once helped me when they didn't have to, when I had nothing, and it changed everything." Her name was Kelsey, she told him later, as they sat on a bench outside the store, bags of groceries and diapers at their feet. The evening sun cast long shadows across the parking lot, painting everything in shades of amber and gold. "I used to have a job," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I was a nurse, not an RN yet, just a CNA, but I was working on it, going to school." She paused, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. "Then I got pregnant. The father left. My family, they didn't approve, said I'd made my choice, that I had to live with it." I listened, his chest tight with recognition. Different details. Same story of abandonment, of systems that failed people when they needed them most. "I tried to keep working, but daycare cost more than I made. I got evicted 3 months ago. We've been staying in my car, but it broke down last week. Now we're just nowhere." Her voice cracked. "I never thought I'd be someone who steals, but when she cries because she's hungry and I have nothing to give her—" "You're not someone who steals," Lennox said firmly. "You're someone who loves your daughter enough to risk everything for her. That's not the same thing." Something flickered in her expression. Gratitude, disbelief, a fragile hope she didn't dare trust. 10 years ago, Lennox said slowly, I was in college, pre-med, trying to prove I could make myself something. But I got sick, really sick. Pneumonia that landed me in the hospital for 2 weeks. I had no insurance, no family support, and mounting debt I couldn't pay. He stared at his hands, remembering the desperation, the fear that had consumed him then. A nurse stayed late one night. She wasn't even assigned to my floor, but she heard I was alone, that I was scared. She sat with me for hours talking about anything and everything, brought me books from the library, made sure I ate. He looked at Kelsey, saw her watching him intently. When I was discharged, she gave me her number, said if I ever needed help, a meal, a place to stay while I recovered, anything, I should call. She didn't have much either, single mother, working double shifts, but she offered anyway.
His voice grew thick. I never forgot that. The kindness of a stranger who became a friend when I had none. What happened? Kelsey asked softly. I changed my degree to business, built a company from nothing, worked every hour I had. Eventually, it succeeded beyond anything I imagined. He paused. But I never saw her again. She moved away for a better job before I could properly thank her. I've looked for her for years, wanting to repay what she gave me, but I never found her. They sat in silence for a long moment, Bryn's contented sounds the only noise between them. Then Kelsey spoke, her voice strange. What was her name? The nurse. Diane Hartley. Kelsey went completely still. When she looked up, tears were sliding down her cheeks. That's my mother. The revelation hung between them like something sacred and impossible. Lennox felt the world tilt slightly, felt the hand of something larger than coincidence at work. Your mother, he repeated slowly. Diane Hartley. She worked at Mercy General? Yes, she died 4 years ago. Breast cancer. Kelsey's voice broke. She used to tell me stories about the people she helped. There was one, a young man she met during a difficult time in her career. She said helping him reminded her why she became a nurse, that sometimes we're placed in people's lives for reasons we don't understand until much later. I felt tears burn my eyes. All these years searching for a way to repay the woman who saved me, and here was her daughter, desperate, alone, carrying forward her mother's fierce capacity for love despite impossible circumstances. She would want me to help you, he said quietly, not as repayment, but as a continuation of the kindness she started. Over the following months, Lennox did what Diane would have done. He found Kelsey and Bryn a small apartment, helped her re-enroll in nursing school, arranged childcare through his company's partner programs. But more than the practical help, he showed up. He checked in regularly, brought dinner on hard nights, held Bryn when Kelsey needed to study for exams. The second revelation came gradually, emerging through conversations and shared memories. Kelsey had inherited her mother's journals, filled with reflections on patients and people who'd touched her life. In one entry from 10 years prior, Diane had written about the pre-med student she had helped, about how his determination and gratitude had rekindled her faith in humanity during a dark period of her own life. She was struggling too, Kelsey explained one evening as they read together. She had just gone through a divorce, was questioning whether she'd made the right choices. Helping you, it helped her remember who she wanted to be. I absorbed this, understanding deepening. I thought she saved me, but maybe we saved each other. That's how kindness works. It's never just one direction. It's a circle that keeps expanding. 2 years later, Kelsey graduated with her RN degree. Lennox attended the ceremony, sitting beside her elderly aunt, the only family member who reconciled with her, and watched as she walked across the stage, Bryn now a bright-eyed toddler watching from the audience. Afterwards, in the parking lot, as families celebrated around them, Kelsey turned to him with tears in her eyes. I keep thinking about that day in the grocery store, how terrified I was, how certain I was that we'd lost everything. Her voice trembled. And how you appeared, like my mother sent you. Maybe she did, Lennox said gently. Maybe that's how love works. It's never just one direction. It finds new ways to reach the people who need it.
You didn't just help me survive, Kelsey continued. You showed me that I was still worth helping. That being in a desperate moment didn't define my whole story. She paused, wiping her eyes. My mom always said the greatest gift we can give someone is seeing them when they're invisible. Really seeing them. Lennox pulled her into a hug. Bryn squeezed between them and felt something complete itself. A circle that had been open for 10 years, finally closing with grace. Your mother saw me when I was invisible, and now I see you. That's the inheritance she left us both. Later that evening, as the sun set and families departed, Lennox watched Kelsey buckle Bryn into the car seat of the modest sedan she'd been able to purchase with her first paycheck. The little girl waved at him, her smile bright and unafraid, growing up with the security her mother had fought so hard to give her. "Lennox," Kelsey called as he turned to leave. "Thank you for stopping me that day, for not looking away." He smiled, feeling Diane's presence somehow in the warm evening air. "Thank you for being worth stopping for letting me finish what your mother started." "It's not finished," she said, grinning. "It's just continuing. I'm going to work at Mercy General, where my mom worked. I'm going to be the nurse who sees people when they're invisible." She'd be so proud of you. She'd be proud of both of us. As Lennox drove home, the city lights beginning to sparkle in the dusk, he thought about the mysterious mathematics of kindness, how one act, given freely a decade ago, had returned to him in the form of someone else who needed that same gift, how helping Kelsey had somehow completed his gratitude to Diane, creating something larger than either transaction alone. Kindness is never wasted, never lost. It travels through time and hearts, waiting for the moment when it can bloom again. When we extend our hand to someone in their darkest hour, we don't just change their story, we become part of an endless chain of grace, connecting past and future in ways we may never fully understand. The greatest gift we can give is to see someone when they're invisible, to offer dignity when the world offers only judgment. In doing so, we honor everyone who ever showed us the same mercy.